My name is Elijah Crane. I'm a game warden in Pike County, Kentucky. Today is October 29th, 2024. I'm documenting this because there's a holler off Black Creek Road that appears on foggy mornings and disappears by noon, and the people who walk into it don't come back the same. We've had 17 people go missing in that holler over the past 3 months. 14 came back, but they ain't the folks who went in. And yesterday morning, I saw my own truck parked at the mouth of that holler, even though I was standing 5 miles away at the time. I've been a game warden in these mountains for 22 years. Grew up here. Know every ridge, every creek, every deer trail. My granddaddy was a warden before me, his daddy before him. We've been watching these woods for 3 generations. And in all that time, we knew there were places you didn't go. Hollows that felt wrong. Clearings where the birds didn't sing. Old folks called them thin places, spots where the world we know touches something else. But I never seen nothing like the holler that appeared this past July. July 18th. I was driving Black Creek Road before sunrise, checking for poachers. Fog was thick that morning, rolling down from the ridges like smoke. About 2 miles past the Hutchins place, I seen something I'd never noticed before. A dirt road leading off into a holler. Not a trail. A proper road, 2 ruts worn deep by vehicles, fresh tracks in the mud. I'd driven Black Creek Road 1,000 times. There was no holler there, just solid mountainside. But that morning, clear as day, there was an opening. A valley cutting back into the mountain, fog pooling thick at the entrance. I marked it on my GPS and kept driving. Figured I'd been missing it all these years. Easy to overlook things in these mountains. Come noon, I drove back to check it again. The holler was gone. Solid mountainside. No road, no opening. Like it had never been there. You been driving Black Creek Road this morning? I asked Deputy Marcus Webb at the diner that afternoon. Yeah, early, before the fog burned off. Why? You see any new roads? Any hollows opening off the main route? Nope. Same old Black Creek. Nothing new. But I'd seen it. Clear as anything. A holler that appeared in the fog and vanished when the sun came out. I went back the next foggy morning, July 22nd. Sure enough, there it was again. The opening, the road, the fog pooling at the entrance like it was pouring out of the mountain itself. And this time, there was a truck parked at the mouth of the holler. Old Ford, maybe 90s model. Door open, nobody around. I pulled up behind it, got out. Hello? Anybody here? No answer. Just fog and silence. Not even birds. The holler felt wrong. Cold. Like walking into a meat locker in July. I walked maybe 50 feet into the holler. The fog got thicker. The trees got closer. And I started hearing things. Voices. Not close. Distant. Like people talking somewhere deeper in the valley. I couldn't make out words, but there were definitely voices. Pike County Game Warden, I called out. Y'all need to identify yourselves. The voices stopped. The fog pressed closer. And I got the strong feeling I shouldn't be there. That I was trespassing on something that didn't want visitors. I backed out, returned to my truck, took photos of the parked Ford, ran the plates, came back registered to Thomas Mackey, reported missing 3 days ago. Wife said he'd gone hunting in the mountains. Never came home. I called in a search party. By the time they arrived at noon, the holler was gone again. Solid mountainside, no road, no opening, no Ford truck. Just mountain and trees like always. Elijah, there's nothing here, Marcus said. You sure you got the right location? I'm sure. It was right here. The holler, the truck, everything. They searched the area anyway. Found nothing. Thomas Mackey stayed missing. Case went cold. Over the next month, it happened 6 more times. Foggy mornings, I'd drive Black Creek Road and see the holler. Sometimes with vehicles parked at the entrance, sometimes with people walking in. And every time by noon it was gone, and the people who'd walked in didn't come back. August 15th, I watched a woman park her car and walk into the holler. Didn't stop her in time. Called it in, organized a search. By noon the holler was gone and so was she. Janice Morrison, reported missing later that day when she didn't show up for work. But then 3 days later, Janice Morrison came home, walked out of the woods near her house like nothing had happened. Her family called me, relieved. "Miss Morrison, where have you been? You were missing for 3 days." She looked confused. "Missing? I went for a morning walk. Just got back." "Ma'am, you've been gone for 72 hours. That's impossible. I left this morning, walked up into that holler off Black Creek Road. Beautiful place, peaceful. I walked around for maybe an hour, then came home. It's only been a few hours." But it had been 3 days, and Janice wasn't quite right. Her family noticed it first. She'd forgotten things, basic things like her daughter's name, her job, where she kept things in her own house. She looked like Janice Morrison, sounded like her, but acted like someone who was pretending to be her, someone who'd studied her but didn't quite have all the details right. Over August and September, 14 people went missing in the holler. 11 came back, but none of them were right. They'd lost time, thinking they'd been gone for hours when it had been days or weeks. They'd forgotten important details about their own lives. They moved wrong, talked wrong, acted like copies of themselves rather than the originals. "What's happening to them in there?" Marcus asked. "What's in that holler?" "I don't know, but whatever it is, it's taking people and sending back something that looks like them, but ain't them." The families could tell. They knew their loved ones had changed. But what could they do? The person looked right, had the same memories mostly, passed any test you could think of. But something fundamental was different, something missing or replaced. Last week I decided I had to go in, had to see what was in that holler, figure out what was happening to people. I waited for a foggy morning. October 24th, drove to Black Creek Road before sunrise, and sure enough, there it was, the holler, the opening, fog pouring out like breath. I parked my truck and walked in. The fog closed around me immediately, thick, cold, disorienting. I kept my hand on my GPS, marking my path. After maybe 10 minutes, I came to a clearing. There were structures there, old buildings, cabins and barns that looked like they'd been abandoned for 100 years. But they weren't ruins, they were maintained. Smoke coming from chimneys, lights in windows, and people. Dozens of people, moving between buildings, working, living. Like a whole community existed in this hidden valley. I recognized some of them. Thomas Mackey, Janice Morrison, others who'd been reported missing over the past months. They were all there, looking normal, acting normal, living their lives in this impossible holler. "Thomas Mackey?" I called out. "I'm Elijah Crane, game warden. Your family's been looking for you." He turned, smiled. "Warden Crane, welcome. We've been expecting you." "Expecting me?" "Sir, you've been missing for 3 months. Your wife is worried sick." "I'm not missing. I'm right here. I found this place and decided to stay. It's peaceful. No troubles from the outside world. Just us and the mountain." "But you can't just disappear. You got a life, a family." "I sent someone back to take care of that. Someone who looks like me, sounds like me, can do my job, live my life. But I get to stay here, away from everything." "You sent someone back? Who?" He gestured to the other people in the clearing. "We all did. The holler provides. When you come here, it makes a copy. The copy goes back to live your life, and you get to stay here, forever, in peace." I looked around at all the missing people. They weren't trapped. They'd chosen to stay. Let the holler create duplicates to replace them in the outside world while they remained in this hidden place. What about the time difference? Janice Morrison thought she'd been here for an hour when it was 3 days. Time moves different here. Slower. An hour here is days out there. You could live a lifetime in this holler, and barely any time would pass in the real world. "I need to leave. People need to know what's happening." "You can leave, but the holler will make a copy. Send it back, and you'll have to decide, go back yourself and live your complicated life, or stay here in peace and let the copy handle everything." I walked back the way I'd come. The fog guided me out, and when I reached my truck, I had a choice. Drive away and pretend this never happened, or accept that a copy of me would be created, that I could stay in the holler and let the duplicate live my life. I drove away, but yesterday morning, I saw something that made my blood run cold. I was at the sheriff's office in Pikeville, 5 miles from Black Creek Road, and someone radioed in that they'd seen my truck parked at the mouth of the holler, with me walking into the fog. "That's impossible," I said. "I'm standing right here." But multiple people confirmed it. They'd seen my truck, seen me, walking into the holler like all the others. The holler had created my duplicate without me choosing to stay. Or maybe I had stayed. Maybe I'm the duplicate, thinking I'm the original, living Elijah Crane's life while the real Elijah stays in the holler, in peace, in timeless fog. I don't know which one I am anymore, the original or the copy, the man who left the holler or the man who stayed. All I know is the holler is still there, every foggy morning, taking people, making copies, sending back replacements who aren't quite right. And I might be one of them. Story 2, my name is Sarah Boone. I'm a folklore archivist in Letcher County, Kentucky. Today is November 3rd, 2024. I'm documenting this because there's a tree up on Caudle Ridge that sings in voices of people who've died in these mountains. And yesterday I heard my grandmother singing from it, even though she's been dead for 40 years. The tree knows things it shouldn't know, sings songs that were never written down, tells secrets that were buried with the dead. And last night, it sang about my death in a voice I recognized as my own. I've been collecting stories in these mountains for 15 years. Oral histories, folk tales, songs that were passed down through generations. My job is to preserve the culture of Appalachia before it's lost. I interview elders, record their stories, document the traditions. It's important work. These mountains hold memories that exist nowhere else. But some stories ain't meant to be recorded. Some memories should stay buried. I first heard about the singing tree from Abel Hutchins, 93 years old, sharp as a tack. I was interviewing him about old coal mining songs when he mentioned it. You want to hear real mountain music, you go up to Caudle Ridge. There's a big oak up there, been there since before my granddaddy's time. It sings. Trees don't sing, Mr. Hutchins. This one does. Sings in voices of folks who've died in these mountains. My daddy heard his mother singing from it. Clear as day, songs she used to sing when he was a boy. Daddy said it was her voice exactly. But she'd been dead 20 years. How does a tree sing? Wind through the branches, I reckon. But it ain't just wind sounds. It's real singing. Words, melodies, voices of the dead. I thought he was confused, mixing up memory and imagination. But 3 other elders told me similar stories. All mentioned the oak on Caudle Ridge. All said it sang in voices of the deceased. So I went up there September 15th, hiked up Caudle Ridge with my recording equipment, found the tree easy enough, massive white oak, maybe 300 years old, branches spread wide, leaves rustling in the breeze. I sat under it for 2 hours, heard nothing but normal forest sounds. Wind, birds, creek water in the distance, no singing, no voices. Just a tree. I was about to leave when the wind picked up. The branches started moving, and I heard it. A voice, faint but clear, singing. In the pines, where the sun never shines. Old folk song, common in these mountains. But the voice singing it was young, female, achingly sad. I recorded it, captured maybe 30 seconds before the wind died and the voice stopped. I played it back. The voice was there, clear on the recording. Not wind sounds, not imagination. A woman's voice singing a traditional ballad. Over the next month, I visited the tree a dozen times. Each visit, when the wind blew right, I'd hear singing. Different voices, different songs. Some I recognized, old mining songs, hymns, ballads. Others I'd never heard. Songs that might have been lost for generations. October 8th, I heard a voice I recognized. A man singing, "Man of constant sorrow." The voice sounded like my grandfather. been dead 15 years, but that was his voice, his way of singing, the slight rasp he'd had from years of smoking. "Granddaddy," I called out, "is that you?" The singing continued, same song, same voice, like he was right there in the branches, singing just for me. I recorded it, played it back for my mother that evening. She burst into tears. "That's Daddy. That's exactly how he sounded." "Where did you get this recording?" "The tree on Caudle Ridge, the one people say sings." "Sarah, that's not possible. Your grandfather is dead." "I know, Mama, but that's his voice. You heard it?" She couldn't explain it. Neither could I, but the evidence was clear. The tree was singing in my grandfather's voice, a voice that shouldn't exist anymore. I started researching the tree, found references in old county records, mentioned as a landmark since at least 1847. Local legends talked about it being a witness tree, a tree that had seen everything that happened in these mountains. Deaths, births, wars, feuds. The tree remembered. And somehow it captured voices, preserved them, sang them back when the wind was right. October 22nd, I brought my colleague Marcus Webb to the tree. He was skeptical, didn't believe trees could sing. But when the wind picked up that afternoon, he heard it too, a woman's voice singing a lullaby. He went pale. "That's my sister. She died when I was 10, drowned in the creek." "That's her voice. I remember it exactly." "How is this possible?" "I don't know, but I've heard 20 different voices from this tree. All of them people who died in these mountains. It's like the tree absorbs them, keeps them, lets them sing when the wind blows. That's beautiful and terrifying." He was right. Beautiful because the voices were preserved, songs and memories that would have been lost forever. Terrifying because the dead shouldn't be singing from trees. Last week, I decided to camp under the tree overnight, see what it sang when no one was listening during daylight. October 30th, I set up my tent, prepared my recording equipment, and waited. Nothing happened until midnight. Then the wind picked up, and the tree started singing. Multiple voices at once, harmonizing, old hymns, work songs, ballads, dozens of voices all singing together in a chorus of the dead. I recorded for 3 hours. The voices never stopped. They sang continuously, songs I knew and songs I'd never heard. English lyrics in older languages I couldn't identify. The tree was giving me everything, every voice it had collected over centuries. Then around 3 a.m., I heard a voice that made me freeze. My grandmother, dead for 40 years, but that was her voice, singing a song I'd never heard her sing, a song I didn't recognize. Sarah Jean, sweet Sarah Jean, walking paths she's never seen. Sarah Jean, don't go alone into mountains made of bone. It was a warning song about me, using my full name. My grandmother's voice singing about my future. "Grandma," I called up into the branches. "What does that mean? Mountains made of bone?" The singing stopped, the wind died, and I heard her voice one more time. Not singing, speaking. "Don't go into Lost Creek Holler tomorrow. It'll take you like it took me." Lost Creek Holler, where my grandmother had died 40 years ago. She'd gone up there to gather herbs and never came back. They found her body 3 days later at the bottom of the cliff. Accidental fall, the death certificate said. But now her voice from the tree was warning me not to go there, saying it took her, implying her death wasn't an accident. I had plans to hike Lost Creek Holler today, part of my documentation project. I'd scheduled it weeks ago. The tree was warning me, through my grandmother's voice. "Don't go, it'll take you." I left the tree at dawn, came back to town, thought about canceling my hike, but I'm a researcher. I document things, and Lost Creek Holler is part of these mountains. Part of the story I'm supposed to preserve. This morning I drove to the trailhead, started hiking toward Lost Creek Holler. About a mile in I heard it, the singing. Not from the tree was 3 ridges away, but I heard singing. My grandmother's voice, following me. Sarah Jean, turn back home into mountains made of bone. Sarah Jean, don't walk that track. What goes in don't come back. The voice was everywhere. In the wind, in the creek water, in the rustling leaves. My grandmother singing warnings, trying to stop me from reaching the holler. But I kept walking. I had to see what was in Lost Creek Holler. Had to understand what took my grandmother 40 years ago. I reached the holler around noon. Beautiful place. Steep ridges on both sides. Creek running through the center. Peaceful, quiet. Nothing obviously dangerous. Then I noticed the trees. Every single tree in the holler was carved with names. Hundreds of names, thousands, cut into bark, worn smooth by time. Names dating back centuries. I recognized some of them. People who died in these mountains. People whose voices sang from the oak on Caudle Ridge. Lost Creek Holler was where they all died. All of them. Every voice the tree had collected. They'd all died here. And my grandmother's name was carved on a tree near the cliff where they found her body. I was standing in a place of death. A place that collected people. Took them. Added their names to the trees and their voices to the singing tree. I started backing away. Needed to leave. Get out before Lost Creek Holler took me too. That's when I heard the new singing. Not my grandmother. Me, my own voice. Singing from somewhere deeper in the holler. Same voice I'd been recording for years. Same voice I heard every day. But I wasn't singing. I was standing silent, listening. Yet my voice echoed through the holler, singing a song I didn't know. Here lies Sarah Boone, died November 3rd. Walked too far, asked too much. Now she sings among the birch. The holler was singing my death song, in my voice, dated today. I ran, didn't follow the trail, just ran down the mountain, crashing through undergrowth, desperate to get away from Lost Creek Holler, from the trees with their carved names, from my own voice singing my obituary. I made it out, got back to my truck, drove home. It's evening now, November 3rd, the day the holler said I'd die. But I'm alive, I'm home, I'm safe. The holler didn't take me. Except I keep hearing singing. My grandmother's voice, my grandfather's voice, and my own voice, all singing from the singing tree, even though I'm miles away from Caudle Ridge. The tree absorbed me. I'm part of it now, part of the chorus of the dead, even though I'm still alive. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I died in Lost Creek Holler and don't know it yet. Maybe what's writing this is just a voice that thinks it's still Sarah Boone, a memory of a person preserved in the wind and leaves, getting ready to sing from a 300-year-old oak tree. The singing tree knows things it shouldn't, sings truths that hurt. And now I'm one of the voices it knows. Story 3. My name is Thomas Kenton. I'm a mine safety inspector in Harlan County, Kentucky. Today is October 31st, 2024. I'm documenting this because mine number 9 on Preacher's Ridge has been running backwards for 3 months, and the men who work there are aging in reverse. They go in as old miners and come out younger. They go in injured and come out healed. They go in at the end of their shift and come out at the beginning. Time runs backwards in that mine, and yesterday I went inside to investigate. I've been getting younger ever since. I can feel it. 15 years coming off me every hour. By midnight tonight, I'll be a child. By dawn, I won't exist. I've been a mine inspector for 28 years. I know every operation in eastern Kentucky. Know the safety records, the violation histories, the dangerous spots. Mine number 9 wasn't particularly notable. Small operation, 30 workers, decent safety record. Been running since 1987. But in late July, something changed. The miners started reporting strange experiences, time skips, memory gaps, feeling like they'd worked a full shift but only an hour had passed. It's like the clock runs backwards in there, one miner told me. Charlie Mason, age 57, been mining for 30 years. I'll check my watch. 8 a.m. Work for what feels like 8 hours. Check again. It's 8 a.m. Same time, like the shift never happened. Your watch is broken. Get a new one. All our watches do it. And it ain't just time. I'll use up a battery on my headlamp. Replace it. Next shift, The old battery's back in. Fresh, like it was never used. I thought they were messing with me. Miners got a sense of humor sometimes, play pranks on inspectors. But the reports kept coming. Multiple miners. Same stories. August 15th, I did a surprise inspection of mine number 9. Went down at 2 p.m. with my equipment. Checked the ventilation, the support beams, the safety protocols. Everything looked normal. I was down there for 3 hours according to my experience. When I came back up, it was 11 a.m., 4 hours earlier than when I'd entered. That's impossible, I told the foreman, Marcus Webb. I went down at 2 p.m. It's 11 a.m. Time doesn't go backwards. Welcome to mine number 9, Inspector. Time does whatever it wants down there. I checked my equipment. My watch, my phone, all showed 11 a.m. Security footage at the entrance confirmed I'd entered at 2 p.m. and exited at 11 a.m. 3 hours earlier than I'd gone in. What's happening in that mine? Don't know. Started in July. Time runs backwards. The longer you're down there, the more time you lose up here. Some men go down for a shift and come back out before they left. That's physically impossible. Yeah, but it's happening. I reported it to the state mining board. They sent engineers, geologists, physicists, everyone trying to figure out what was causing the time distortion. Found nothing. No explanation, no cause. Just a mine where time ran backwards. Then in September, things got weirder. The miners started aging in reverse. Charlie Mason went down for a shift looking every bit his 57 years. Came out looking 40, younger, gray hair was darker, wrinkles were smoother. He looked like he had 20 years ago. Charlie, what happened to you? Don't know. Feel good though. Better than I have in years. Went down there old and tired, came out feeling young. Oh, over the next month, every miner who worked in mine number 9 started getting younger. Men in their 60s came out looking 40. Men in their 40s looked 25. They were aging backwards, losing years every shift. This is impossible, I told Marcus. People don't get younger. They do in mine number 9. Time runs backwards. Age runs backwards. Everything runs backwards. The miners loved it. They were getting younger, healthier, old injuries healed, chronic pains disappeared. One man who'd had a bad back for 20 years came out walking straight. Another who'd lost fingers in an accident years ago came out with all 10. The mine is healing us, Charlie said, taking away the damage, making us young again. It's a miracle. Or it's something else, something dangerous. Because I'd been noticing something in the reports. The miners weren't just getting younger physically. They were losing memories. Charlie Mason couldn't remember his daughter's wedding. It had happened 5 years ago, but to him, it hadn't occurred yet. He was living backwards through time, losing recent memories, gaining older ones. What happens if you keep working there? I asked him. Keep getting younger? You'll eventually be a child, then an infant. Then what? Don't know, but I feel better than I have in decades. I'm willing to risk it. The state tried to close mine number 9, deemed it unsafe due to temporal anomalies, but the miners protested. They wanted to keep working, keep getting younger, keep healing. So the state compromised. Limited shifts, required monitoring, made it voluntary. Most miners kept working there, going down old, coming up young, living their lives in reverse. Yesterday, October 30th, I went down for a final inspection. Wanted to document the anomaly properly, understand what was happening. I entered at 3 p.m. Inside, the mine felt wrong, cold, like the air itself was moving backwards. The dust fell upward. Water dripped from the floor to the ceiling. Everything moved in reverse. I worked my way deep into the mine. About a mile down the main shaft, I found something I wasn't expecting. A seam of coal that glowed, faintly. Blue-green light pulsing in the rock. I took samples, documented it, and felt strange. Dizzy. Like I was moving through time instead of space. When I came back to the surface, it was 10 a.m., 5 hours before I'd entered. And I looked different. Younger. I checked my reflection in my truck mirror. The gray in my beard was gone. The lines around my eyes had faded. I'd lost 15 years. That was yesterday morning. Since then, I've been getting younger every hour. Not rapidly, but steadily. 15 years, then 20, then 25. I can feel it. See it. Photographs of me from this morning look older than I look now. I'm aging backwards, living in reverse. Because I touched that glowing coal. Because I went too deep into the mine. I went to the hospital. They couldn't help, said I was healthy. Perfect health. But getting younger. The doctor estimated I'm physically about 35 now. I'm actually 53. I've lost 18 years since yesterday. And it's continuing. I can feel time peeling off me. Every hour I lose more. Memories are starting to fade. Recent things first. I'm forgetting the last few years, remembering older things instead. By midnight tonight, 6 hours from now, I estimate I'll be about 20 years old. By dawn, maybe 10. By noon tomorrow, I'll be an infant. And then what? Do I cease to exist? Do I rewind past birth into nothingness? I'm writing this while I still remember who I am. Thomas Kenton, mine inspector, 53 years old, married, 2 daughters, 28 years of experience. Oh, but those memories are fading. I'm losing them as I age backwards. Soon I won't remember my adult life, won't remember my career, my family. I'll be a teenager, then a child, then gone. Mine number 9 runs backwards. Time, age, everything. The miners wanted to get younger, wanted to heal, but they didn't understand what they were asking for. You can't live backwards forever. Eventually you reach the beginning, and then there's nothing left. I went too deep, touched something in that mine that I shouldn't have touched. Now I'm paying the price. 6 hours until midnight. I'm writing this quickly. My handwriting looks younger already. Less steady. Like a younger man's hand. By the time anyone reads this, I won't exist anymore. I'll have aged backwards past birth, rewound to nothing. The mine runs backwards, and now so do I. Don't go into mine number 9. Don't touch the glowing coal. Don't try to reverse time. Because you can't stop once it starts. You just keep getting younger, losing years, losing memories, losing yourself, until there's nothing left but the moment before you existed. And then not even that. Story 4. My name is Jacob Turner. I'm a county historian in McDowell County, West Virginia. Today is November 8th, 2024. I'm documenting this because the bell at Old Hope Baptist Church on Kettle Creek has been ringing backwards for 2 months, counting down instead of marking time, and every person whose name it speaks dies when the countdown reaches 0. The bell has spoken 43 names. All 43 people are dead. And last night at midnight, it spoke my name. The countdown is at 72 hours. I've been recording the history of these mountains for 18 years, documenting the churches, the families, the stories that make up McDowell County. Old Hope Baptist is one of the oldest, built in 1843, still standing on the same foundation, still serving the same families after 6 generations. The bell in the tower came from Philadelphia in 1844. Cast iron, deep tone, rang every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for 180 years, until August 15th when it started ringing on its own, and counting. I was interviewing Mabel Hutchins that morning, getting her memories of the old mining days when we heard it. The church bell, ringing at 6 a.m. on a Thursday, not Sunday, not 9 a.m., and the pattern was wrong. That ain't right, Mabel said. Bell don't ring on Thursdays. We listened. The bell rang 12 times, paused, rang 12 times again, over and over. 12 chimes. Like it was stuck on noon. Someone's pulling a prank, I said. Kids messing around. But when we drove up to Old Hope Baptist, the church was locked. No one around. The bell was ringing on its own. 12 chimes, 12 chimes, 12 chimes. Pastor Jim Davidson came with his key. We climbed the tower. The bell was swinging by itself. No rope moving, no mechanism engaged. Just swinging and ringing. 12 times, over and over. How do we stop it? Jim asked. Pull the clapper out, disconnect it. We tried, but the moment we touched the bell, it changed. The 12 chimes became words, a voice, deep, metallic, speaking through the ringing. Robert Mason, 12 days. Then it stopped. Complete silence. Did that bell just say a name? Jim asked. Robert Mason. That's old Bobby Mason's grandson. Lives over on Kettle Creek. The bell had spoken a name and a countdown. 12 days. We checked on Robert Mason. He was fine, working his job at the hardware store. Healthy, normal. We warned him anyway, told him the bell had spoken his name. Y'all are crazy, he said. Church bell can't talk. But 12 days later, August 27th, Robert Mason died. Car accident on Route 52. Died instantly when his truck went off the road. Exactly 12 days after the bell spoke his name. Coincidence, Pastor Jim said. Tragic coincidence. But the bell rang again. August 28th. 6 a.m. This time it counted 10. 10 chimes. Then the voice, Sarah Boone, 10 days. Sarah Boone, Mabel Hutchins' daughter. We called her immediately, warned her, begged her to be careful. I don't believe in curses, she said. A bell can't predict when I'm going to die. 10 days later, September 7th, Sarah Boone died. Heart attack. Sudden, unexpected. She was only 43. The bell rang the next morning. Marcus Webb, 9 days. Over the next month, the bell spoke 8 more names, each time counting down. Each time the person died exactly when the countdown reached 0. Car accidents, medical emergencies. One man fell off a ladder, another drowned in the creek. Different causes, but always exactly on time. The bell knows when people are going to die, I told Jim. It's counting down to their deaths. That's not possible. Bells don't predict the future. This one does. 11 people dead, all spoken by the bell, all died exactly when predicted. By October, the whole county knew about the bell. People were terrified of hearing their names. Some families moved away. Others refused to go near Old Hope Baptist. The church became a place of fear instead of worship. We have to destroy it, Jim said. Tear down the bell, stop it from speaking. We tried. October 15th brought a crew up to remove the bell, but the moment we touched it, the bell rang. Not counting down, just ringing. Loud, painful. The sound was so intense it drove us out of the tower. We couldn't get near it. The bell protected itself, wouldn't let us remove it, wouldn't let us stop it. And it kept speaking names, kept counting down. By November 1st, it had spoken 43 names, 43 people dead. The countdown varied, sometimes 12 days, sometimes 3, once only 18 hours, but always accurate, always fatal. Last night, November 7th, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about the bell, about the pattern, about what it meant. Around midnight, I heard it, faint, distant, but clear. The bell was ringing from Old Hope Baptist 3 miles away. I shouldn't have been able to hear it from my house, but I heard it. 3 chimes, then the voice. Jacob Turner, 3 days. My name. The bell spoke my name. 3 days, 72 hours until I die. I drove to the church immediately. The bell was silent, but I climbed the tower anyway, looked at the bell. It was still, cold, silent, but I knew what I'd heard. Why me? I called out. What did I do? The bell didn't answer, just hung there, waiting. I've spent today trying to figure out how to stop it, how to survive past the countdown. I've talked to everyone the bell has spoken about, family members of the dead, looking for patterns, looking for ways they might have avoided their deaths. Found nothing. Every person tried to be careful, tried to survive, but they all died exactly on time. Car accidents that seemed unavoidable, heart attacks that came without warning, falls that shouldn't have been fatal but were. The bell's predictions created themselves. Once your name was spoken, your death was inevitable. Maybe you should leave, Pastor Jim suggested. Get far away from McDowell County. Get away from the bell. You think distance matters? The bell spoke names of people who live 30 miles away. Geography doesn't protect you. Then what do you do? I don't know. Wait, Hope. Pray that maybe I'm the exception. But I know I'm not. 43 names, 43 deaths. Perfect record. The bell is never wrong. I have 3 days, 72 hours. The countdown started last night at midnight. That means I die November 10th at midnight. Exact time, exact date. I'm documenting this while I still have time, recording what I know about the bell, about the pattern, about the 43 people who heard their names and died. Someone needs to understand what's happening at Old Hope Baptist. The bell is predicting deaths, or causing them, or marking people for death. I don't know which, but it's real, it's accurate, and it's counting down to my last moment. 2 days and 21 hours remaining. I can feel it, like a weight on my chest, a timer running down inside me. The bell spoke my name and started my death countdown. November 10th, midnight. That's when I die. The bell has spoken, and the bell is never wrong. I don't know how I'll die. Car accident? Heart attack? Something random and impossible to predict? But I know when. Exactly when. 72 hours from midnight last night. The countdown is running, and I can't stop it. If you're reading this and I'm dead, stay away from Old Hope Baptist Church. Don't go near the bell. And if you hear it ringing at strange hours, don't listen for your name. Because once the bell speaks your name, you're already dead, just waiting for the countdown to reach a 0. Story 5. My name is Martha Yates. I'm a river safety coordinator in Wise County, Virginia. Today is October 26, 2024. I'm documenting this because there's a flood in Miller's Hollow that's been rising for 3 months, even though it hasn't rained. And the water is full of things that drowned there decades ago coming back to the surface. We've pulled out cars from the 1950s, furniture from houses that burned down 40 years ago, and bodies that were buried in the 1800s. The flood is bringing back the past, and yesterday, I saw my own daughter's bike floating in the water. The bike she'll receive for Christmas. The flood is reaching into the future now. I've been coordinating river safety in these mountains for 14 years. Flooding is common. Spring rains, summer storms, autumn hurricanes pushing up from the south. We know how to handle floods, evacuate low areas, monitor water levels, wait for it to recede. Standard emergency management. But the flood in Miller's Hollow isn't standard. It started July 28th with no rain. Just water rising out of the creek. Slow at first, an inch a day, then faster. By August, the hollow was underwater. By September, the water was 20 feet deep, and it's still rising. "Where's the water coming from?" asked Deputy Tom Wilson. "It hasn't rained in weeks. The creek shouldn't be flooding." "I don't know. There must be a spring upstream, an aquifer rupture, something geological. But we couldn't find the source. The water just appeared." Rose steadily, filled the hollow like someone was slowly pouring it in. The strangest part was what came up with the water. Not just debris and mud, objects, things that shouldn't exist anymore. August 15th, a car surfaced. 1952. Ford mainline. Rusty but intact. Still had the license plates. Registered to Thomas Webb, died 1953. The car had been missing for 70 years. Vanished one night with Thomas driving it. Never found. Until it floated up in Miller's Hollow, doors locked, Thomas Webb's skeleton in the driver's seat, still wearing his wedding ring. "How did it get here?" Tom asked. This car was never in Miller's Hollow. Thomas Webb disappeared 30 miles away. Maybe someone moved it, dumped it here. With the body inside, that's a crime scene from 70 years ago. We documented it, sent the remains to the state forensics lab. The coroner confirmed Thomas Webb had drowned in his car in 1953. But the car was found in water that shouldn't exist. Over the next month, more things surfaced. A piano from the Hutchins house, burned down in 1987. Furniture from the old school, demolished in 1965. Gravestones from the cemetery that washed away in the 1916 flood, all appearing in the water, floating, preserved, impossible. The flood is bringing back things that were lost, I told Tom. Things that disappeared or were destroyed decades ago. They're all coming back. That doesn't make sense. Objects don't travel through time. They don't reappear after being destroyed. But they were reappearing. More every day. Photographs, clothing, tools, all from different decades. All things that should have been gone, lost to fire or flood or time. Then in September, we started finding bodies. Not recent deaths, old deaths. People who'd been buried for generations. The flood was pulling up graves, caskets surfacing, bodies preserved in the water like they'd been buried yesterday instead of 100 years ago. Sarah Mason died 1842. Her casket floated up intact, body preserved, still wearing her burial dress. Robert Boone died 1889, found floating in the water. Not decomposed, not damaged, just dead like he drowned yesterday instead of dying from fever in 1889. The flood is reaching back in time, I said, pulling things from the past, bringing them to the surface. Why? What's causing this? I don't know, but it's not stopping. The water's still rising. More things surface every day, and they're getting more recent. By October, objects from the 1990s started appearing. A bicycle from 2001, a car from 2008, a cell phone from 2015. The flood was moving forward through time, getting closer to the present. What happens when it reaches now? Tom asked. What happens when it starts pulling up things from today? I don't know, but we need to evacuate the area. Get people away from Miller's Hollow. Whatever this flood is doing, it's not safe. We tried, but families who'd lived in those mountains for generations refused to leave. Said they'd survived floods before. Said they'd survived this one. Until October 20th, when things from the future started appearing. I was monitoring the water levels when I saw it. A license plate, new, shiny, Virginia tags, dated 2026, 2 years from now. Hey, that's impossible, Tom said. That plate doesn't exist yet. But it was real, solid, floating in the water with other debris. A license plate from 2 years in the future. Over the next week, more future objects surfaced. A newspaper dated December 2024. A phone from 2025. Photographs showing events that haven't happened yet. The flood wasn't just bringing back the past, it was pulling in the future. Objects from times that hadn't occurred yet. Things that shouldn't exist. Yesterday, October 25th, I was searching the edge of the flood when I saw something that made my heart stop. A child's bicycle, pink with training wheels, decorated with stickers. I recognized it immediately. It was the bike I'd ordered for my daughter Emma's Christmas present. The exact bike, same model, same color, same stickers I'd picked out. But I hadn't bought it yet, hadn't even told Emma about it. The bike was still on the website waiting for me to complete the order. But here it was, in the flood, from the future, from Christmas morning when Emma would open it. How is my daughter's Christmas present in this water? I asked Tom. That bike doesn't exist yet. I haven't bought it. The flood is reaching forward, pulling things from future time, just like it pulled things from the past. I grabbed the bike, pulled it from the water. It was real, solid, brand new, with a tag attached. To Emma, love Mom, Christmas, 2024. In my handwriting. From 2 months in the future. What does this mean? I asked. If the bike is here now, does that mean Christmas doesn't happen? Does that mean the future is being pulled into the present? Or it means time is collapsing, past, present, and future all existing simultaneously in that water. More future objects keep appearing, things from weeks ahead, months ahead, years ahead. The flood is pulling them in, bringing them to the surface, creating a place where all time exists at once. This morning I saw something that terrified me. A gravestone, new granite, fresh inscription. Martha Yates, 1979 to 2024. Beloved mother, died in the flood. My gravestone. From the future, my death. This year. The date wasn't listed, just 2024, but the cause was clear. Died in the flood. The water is reaching into my future, showing me my death. And if the pattern holds, if everything the flood pulls up becomes real, then my death is inevitable. I'm going to die in that flood. My gravestone has already been carved. My daughter's bike has already been bought. My future is already happening in that water. The flood that never recedes isn't just water. It's time itself, flowing wrong, mixing past and future, pulling everything into the present. And once something surfaces in that water, it becomes real, fixed, inevitable. I'm leaving Miller's Hollow today, taking Emma and getting far away. Maybe distance will help. Maybe if I'm not near the water, my future death can't find me. But I know the truth. The flood isn't limited to Miller's Hollow. It's spreading, growing, reaching out. Yesterday it was 20 feet deep. Today it's 23. By next week, it'll cover the whole valley. And everything it touches becomes part of its timeline. Past, present, and future all mixed together. All real. All happening at once. My gravestone says I died in 2024, in the flood. That future is in the water now, waiting, inevitable. The flood never recedes. It only rises, bringing the past back, pulling the future forward, mixing everything together until time means nothing. And I'm part of it now. My death is in that water, just waiting to catch up to me. Story 6. My name is Daniel Boone. I'm a geological surveyor in Buchanan County, Virginia. Today is November 11th, 2024. I'm documenting this because there's a coal seam in the Black Mountain Range that has names fossilized in it, names of people who aren't dead yet. And when miners dig out the coal containing a name, that person dies within 24 hours. We've found 63 names so far, 63 people dead. And yesterday, while surveying a new section, I found my name in the coal. My death is scheduled to be mined tomorrow at 6 a.m. I've been surveying coal deposits in these mountains for 19 years. I know the geology of Buchanan County better than anyone. The coal seams, the rock layers, the fault lines. I can read the earth like a book. Tell you what was here millions of years ago just by looking at the strata. But I can't explain what we found in August. Coal with names in it. Not carved, not written, fossilized. Part of the coal itself. Like the names were there when the coal formed 300 million years ago. August 12th. Miners at the Blackstone site hit a new seam. Good quality coal, deep black. But when they broke it open, they found something strange. Letters, words, a name, formed naturally in the coal. Clear as day. Robert Hayes, written in the coal. Not recent writing. The letters were part of the fossil record, part of the coal itself. Boss, you need to see this, the foreman Marcus Webb called me down. Got something weird in the seam. No, I examined it. The name was definitely part of the coal, formed by some geological process I couldn't identify. The letters were made of different mineral composition than the surrounding coal. Lighter, visible, perfect. That's impossible, I said. Coal doesn't form letters naturally. Well, this coal did. Clear as anything. Robert Hayes. What do we do with it? Document it, photograph it, then mine it out. It's just a geological anomaly. Interesting, but not problematic. They mined out the section containing the name. August 12th, 2 p.m., loaded it into trucks, sent it to the processing plant. August 13th, 2 p.m., exactly 24 hours later, Robert Hayes died, heart attack. He was only 43, healthy, no prior conditions, just dropped dead at his kitchen table. Robert Hayes, same name that had been in the coal. Coincidence, Marcus said. Lots of people named Robert Hayes. In Buchanan County, how many Robert Hayes do you know? Just the one who died. Over the next week, miners found 3 more names. Sarah Mason, Thomas Boone, Jennifer Webb. All names of people living in Buchanan County, all mined out and sent to processing. All 3 people died within 24 hours of their names being mined. Sarah Mason, car accident. Thomas Boone, fell off a ladder. Jennifer Webb, sudden stroke. The coal is killing them, I told Marcus. When we mine out their names, they die. That's insane. Coal can't predict deaths. Coal can't cause deaths. Then explain 4 people dying exactly 24 hours after their names are mined from the coal. We stopped mining that seam, shut down operations. But miners talk. Word spread. Other operations in Buchanan County started reporting the same thing. Names in the coal. People dying when their names were mined. By October, 63 names had been found across 5 different mine sites. All names of living people. All people who died within 24 hours of their names being extracted from the coal. The names are death sentences, I said at the emergency county meeting. We need to stop mining. Check every seam before we dig. Find the names and leave them in the ground. Or, we can't stop mining, the mine owner said. Coal is our economy. We can't shut down because of some superstition. It's not superstition. 63 people are dead. 63 coincidences. But they agreed to survey seams before mining. Look for names. Document them. If names were found, that section would be avoided. Simple solution. Keep the names in the ground. Keep people alive. I've been leading the surveys, using ground-penetrating radar, cameras, core samples, looking for names before miners hit them, mapping where the death sentences are hidden in the coal. Yesterday, November 10th, I was surveying a new section in the deepest part of Black Mountain. Unstable area, dangerous, but rich coal deposits, worth checking. I drilled a core sample, pulled it up, and there, clear as day in the coal, was my name. Warranting Daniel Boone, written in the black rock, my death sentence, fossilized, waiting. I dropped the core sample, stared at it, my name, in coal that formed 300 million years ago, before humans existed, before language existed, before anything existed that could write names. But there it was, my name, my death. I checked the survey maps, calculated the location. The section containing my name was scheduled to be mined tomorrow, November 12th, 6 a.m., standard extraction time. If the pattern held, and it always held, I'd die 24 hours later. November 13th, 6 a.m. I called Marcus immediately. You need to cancel tomorrow's mining operation. Section 7 of the Black Mountain site. Don't mine it. Why not? My name is in the coal. If you mine it, I die. Daniel, we can't cancel operations every time we find a name. We'd never mine anything. This is my name, my life. Please, just delay it. One day, let me figure out what to do. Can't do it. Schedules are set. Equipment is mobilized. Crews are assigned. Section 7 gets mined tomorrow at 6 a.m. Then I'm going down there. I'm removing the coal with my name, taking it out carefully. Maybe if I extract it instead of miners blasting it, the death sentence won't activate. That's crazy. 63 people died after their names were mined. I'm not going to be number 64. I'm heading to Black Mountain tonight. Going to climb down into that new seam and carefully extract the coal containing my name. If I can remove it without standard mining procedures, without blasting, without machinery, maybe I can break the pattern. Maybe I can survive past 6 a.m. on November 13th. But I know the truth. 63 names, 63 deaths, perfect record. Every person died exactly 24 hours after their name was mined from the coal. My name is in the coal, in rock that formed 300 million years ago. My death was written in the earth before humans existed, before I was born, before anything could know my name. But the coal knows, the earth knows, and in 17 hours, miners will extract my death sentence from the ground. Unless I can remove it first, carefully, respectfully, asking the earth to release me from the death it recorded so long ago. I don't know if it'll work. Don't know if I can change what the coal has already decided. But I have to try, because my name is in the Black Mountain, and tomorrow at 6 a.m., miners are coming for it. When they mine it out, I die. That's the pattern. That's the rule. The coal never lies. And my name is waiting in the darkness. 300 million years old, ready to be extracted. Ready to kill me exactly 24 hours later. Story 7. My name is Samuel Pritchard. I'm a surveyor in Greenbrier County, West Virginia. Today is November 15th, 2024. I'm documenting this because Ravens Peak changed locations last night, and the people who climbed the mountain yesterday are still up there, even though the mountain isn't where it was anymore. I've been surveying these mountains for 20 years. I know every ridge, every peak, every valley. Ravens Peak has been in the same spot since before my grandfather's time, northwest of Lewisburg, elevation 3,847 feet, distinctive rock formation at the summit. It's on every map, every GPS. It's been there forever. Until this morning, when it wasn't. Yesterday, November 14th, a group of 6 hikers started up Ravens Peak. Standard day hike. I saw them at the trailhead around 8 a.m. Told them to be careful. Weather was changing. They said they'd be down by 4 p.m. They never came back. This morning I drove out to look for them, but when I got to where Ravens Peak should be, there was just flat ridge. No mountain, no peak, no rock formation. Just empty space where a 847-foot mountain had stood for millions of years. I checked my GPS. It still showed Ravens Peak at those coordinates, but I was standing there, and there was nothing. The mountain was gone. I called the sheriff. Ravens Peak is missing. What do you mean missing? I mean it's not where it's supposed to be. The mountain moved or disappeared, and there are 6 hikers up there. They thought I was crazy until they drove out and saw for themselves. Where Ravens Peak should be, there was nothing. But our equipment still showed it. Maps still showed it. Satellite images from yesterday showed it. The mountain existed everywhere except in physical reality. Then around noon, I saw something impossible. About 3 miles east of where Ravens Peak should be, there was a mountain that shouldn't exist. Same height, same rock formation, same distinctive peak. Ravens Peak had moved. 3 miles east, overnight. We drove there, hiked up, found the 6 hikers at the summit. They were confused, disoriented. Said they'd summited yesterday and camped overnight. Planned to descend this morning, but the trails were wrong. Everything was wrong. The mountain had changed. The mountain didn't change, I told them. It moved. You're 3 miles from where you started. Mountains don't move. But this one did. And the hikers who were on it when it moved got carried along. Displaced, relocated without knowing it. We got them down safely, but I've been checking my instruments all day. Ravens Peak is still in its new location, 3 miles east, and on the maps it shows in both places now. The old location and the new one, like the mountain exists in 2 places simultaneously. I don't know if it'll move again tonight. Don't know if other mountains might start moving too, but I'm documenting this because someone needs to know. The mountains in West Virginia aren't as fixed as we thought. They can move, they can relocate, and if you're on one when it moves, you move with it. I'm staying off Ravens Peak, and I'm watching the other mountains, checking their positions every morning. Because if one mountain can move, others might too. And tomorrow the landscape might be completely different than it is today. The mountains are walking, and we're just living on their backs.